welcome to Life in Envelopes. I am Jennifer Bleecher. This channel is all about planning and budgeting. So if those are topics that are also interesting to you, then please subscribe to my channel. I would love to have you along on this journey. In today's video, we're going to be closing out the first week of November and setting up the second week of November for my budget. I'm using the Budget by Paycheck workbook by the Budget Mom. I am also using these category stickers from Cara Jo Plans. I do have a link to her Etsy shop in the description box of this video. There's also a discount code for you guys there as well. Okay, let's jump in. Okay, I always like to show you guys how I use her expense trackers. The way I use her expense trackers is I do one expense tracker per week. I write down all the expenses that came out this week, and then I color coordinate them by category. I then make a key at the bottom, so when I go to close out my budget at the end of the month, I have all the information I need right here. Okay, let's take a look at where we spent our money this week. Starting with bills. So we had our normal cash envelopes that we do. Most of our bills are covered by David's paycheck, but some of them are covered by my week-to-week paychecks, and those ones we do cash envelopes for. So garbage is one of those. We put $5 towards that. We put $10 towards Alliant Energy. That's for the gas for our house. And we put $5 towards WW, and there were no other bills that came out this week. Next is debt. So for me, the difference between a debt and a bill is a debt will eventually be paid off. Like my mortgage is a debt because it will eventually be paid off. So I don't consider it a bill, I consider it a debt. And I've just categorized it that way for when it comes to closing out my budget at the end of the month. I need to have separate categories. So that's why I've done it that way. That's why I define it that way. So we had the SUV payment come out and it was $118. So that was a debt. And then the other debt payment we had was loan number 2, which is $142. So when we first started this budgeting journey, we consolidated all of our credit card debt into 2 separate loans, loan number 1 and loan number 2. We have since paid off loan number 1, and we are currently working on loan number 2. So when you hear me say loan number 2, that's what I'm referring to, that loan, which is a consolidation of all of our credit card debt, which we did at the very beginning of this journey, like 3 years ago, I wanted to say now, but we pay them $142 a week for that. Okay, moving on to food. So we are still doing the $200 a week for food, and I have to say, guys, this is really working for my family and I. I'm so glad to finally have this category figured out. It's been a struggle. It's been a real struggle. We put $20 every week towards gas. Then miscellaneous. So we start with $50, but we don't end up with $50 because some of that ends up going to our savings challenge. So we ended up having $20 go to miscellaneous expenses this week. And the rest of that went to our savings challenge, which we'll get to in a minute here. So for spending money, we had $45 for spending money. That was $20 for me, $20 for David, and $5 for Logan. Okay, for savings challenges, so this is like a little game that I play every week. So the way I do my YouTube schedule is on Thursdays, I share my budget, and then on Friday, we do cash envelope stuffing and a savings challenge, and that's when we figure out or find out how much goes to our savings challenge. So last Friday, when we played the game, we were able to put $30 towards our savings challenge goal. And then sinking funds. We ended up putting $35 towards sinking funds last week. We usually put $30 towards sinking funds, but we had a buy me a coffee for $5, so we were able to put $35 in there. And that might not seem like a high number to you, $30 a week, but the whole purpose of this is to show, well, besides the fact that this is my actual budget and I have to do what works for my family, but it's also to show that like every little bit counts and it all builds up and over time can help you. Okay, so let's take a look at the worksheets and see how we're doing as far as the budget goes. Okay, so for starters, I do my budgeting a little bit different. I have to do what works for my family, and what works for my family is we have one monthly budget that covers most of our fixed expenses, which are our debts and our bills. And that's covered by my husband's paycheck, David. He's paid once a month. He's on a fixed income. So we know that his paycheck is going to be able to cover most of these fixed expenses, which is very helpful. So this week, the only thing that came out was SUV, and it was exactly what we budgeted, which was $118. So far, we are on track. Nothing has been, there hasn't been a great variation in price between what we budgeted and what's actually come out. So we're still good as far as our fixed expenses go. Okay, let's take a look at the week 1 variable budget. Oh wait, we already closed out week 1. We're closing out week 2 today and setting up week 3. Whoops, I messed that up in the intro. Sorry guys. Okay, so the second part of our budget is the week-to-week budgeting we do. This is with mostly our variable expenses. We do have a few bills and debts here just because David's paycheck isn't quite enough to cover all the bills and debts. So I do cover some of them with the income that I bring in as well, but the rest of the income I bring in goes to our variable expenses. It helps us to do it this way because my income is variable. Therefore, we can, if we put them towards our variable expenses, we have some room to work with the numbers. So for my payday, I try to pay myself $507 a week. This is a combination of all of my income, which would be Etsy, YouTube, Patreon, and some affiliate income. And so it's just a combination of all of those, and I try to pay myself $507 a week from my business account as long as I'm able to do that. Last month was kind of tough. We weren't able to do that 2 weeks. We were pretty low, but most of the time I'm able to pay myself that, and this week I was able to pay myself $507. We also received a $5 buy me a coffee last week, so altogether last week we had $512 to work with. Okay, loan number 2 came out, and that was $142. Okay, so the rest of these that you're going to see are cash envelopes. $142 comes out of our bank automatically, but everything else was a cash envelope that we stuffed in last week's cash envelope stuffing video. So we ended up putting $5 towards garbage, $10 towards Alliant Energy, and $5 towards WW. So altogether that came to $162. So $512 minus $162 is $350. So I'm bringing that down here to our variable expenses. Now, these are the cash envelopes that I have like in my wallet that I carry around with me, and we stuff these as well except for food. The reason why we don't stuff food is because we have 2 main ways that we get food. First is Sam's Club, and when we go to Sam's Club, we do the scan and go. And the second is Fairway, which is a local grocery store, and we do the grocery pickup, and so therefore I have to pay with a card online before I go pick up the food. So we just make sure that we have $200 in our account each week to cover those expenses, and we did spend $200 on groceries last week. We did take out $20 in cash for gas. So for miscellaneous, we did take out the $50 in cash, but we ended up putting 30 of that towards our savings challenge when we played the savings challenge game. So that left us with $20 for miscellaneous. Spending was exactly $45. So let's see altogether how much we actually spent on our variable expenses last week. $285. So $350 minus $285, that left us with $65. Okay, I'm going to bring that up here to our sinking funds. So last week we put $10 of cash in our car maintenance envelope. We put $5 in car registration, $10 in Christmas, and $10 in vet. So altogether that was $35. So 65 minus 35 left us with $30. We currently are not doing anything with extra debt because our focus is our current savings challenge. We're trying to save up $1,000 cushion for our bank account, and all of our extra money is going towards that goal right now. So we had $30, which we put into the savings challenge for a total of $30, bringing this week's total to $0. We like to have zero out our budget at the end of every week, which means we have a place for our money. We've told our money where to go. Okay, so let's set up week 3. So our weeks are a little bit funny because we're not like a Monday through Friday or Sunday through Saturday. We actually do Thursday to Wednesday. So for us, week 3 is going to be the 10th through the 16th. So this week, the income I'm going to have, the variable income, will be my payday, and I'm going to be able to pay myself $507. So thank you to everyone who's watched my videos, liked my videos, purchased items on Etsy. Thank you if you're a Patreon. All of those things help us accomplish that goal each week, and we're so thankful for you guys. So for Buy Me a Coffee, we didn't have any Buy Me a Coffees this week, which is absolutely fine. You guys know, like I always say, we never ever expect to buy me a coffee. So that is absolutely fine. So $507 is what we have to work with. So coming down here, first to our fixed expenses, we're going to budget $142 for loan number 2. For garbage, we're going to put $5 towards that, $10 towards Alliant Energy, and $5 towards WW. So altogether, that's $162, right? Yep, that's $162. So let's see, 507 minus 162. That will leave us with $345 to work with. By the way, guys, I'm going to be stuffing these cash envelopes tomorrow and doing the savings challenge tomorrow for this week 3 budget. So I hope you guys will come back tomorrow and join us for that video. Okay, I'm going to come down here to the cash envelopes, which is our variable expenses. So we have $345 to work with. We're going to put $200 of that towards food. We're going to put $20 of that towards gas, $50 towards miscellaneous. But remember, some of that miscellaneous is going to go towards our savings challenge that we play tomorrow. So I'm going to budget 0 for right now, but tomorrow that after tomorrow that number will change based on the results of the game. And then spending money is $45. So let's see, all together that's $315. So $345 minus $315 is $30. I'm going to bring that up here to our sinking funds. So these are also a form of cash envelopes. They're sinking funds envelopes. We're going to put $10 towards car maintenance, $5 towards car registration, $10 towards Christmas, and $5 towards vet. I just wanted to give you guys a little side note. We decided from this point forward until Christmas, or until we're done Christmas shopping, any extra money we get income-wise or through Buy Me a Coffee or anything that we weren't expected, it's all going to go towards Christmas, because we've had a lot of situations where we've this year where we've had to dip into those envelopes. So we're trying to build that up as quickly as possible. So in addition to the savings challenge that we're working on, any extra income that we get is all going to go towards Christmas going forward until we're done Christmas shopping. Okay, so all together that is $30. So 30 minus 30 is 0. Okay, so we're not putting any extra money towards debt right now. So we have 0. So we're 0 across the board. We're ending with 0 at this moment. So it'll be interesting to see how much we're able to put towards our savings challenge tomorrow. The last couple weeks were great. The first week we put 50, and then the next week we put 30. So it's moving quickly, and I'm excited about that. I'm excited to finally reach that $1,000 goal and then move on to our next savings goal. Okay, friends, so that is it for this week's budget check-in. I hope you will come back tomorrow and join me for the cash envelope stuffing, and I will see you all again next time. Bye, everyone.